Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching this. Now that the dust has settled, and honestly, for the first time in a week, I've gone 6 straight working hours without crying. I thought it might be a good idea to try and put into words what we've all just witnessed and experienced. And for me, there's only one place to start. One place amongst a plethora of things to celebrate, any of which could rightly be championed as paramount. I'm going to come on to 70 years of hurt. I'm going to come on to our majestic midfield. I'm going to come on to Dan Burn. I'm going to come on to the Wembley and Liverpool curse. I'm going to come on to our severely depleted starting 11 and much, much more. But for me, there's only one place to start, and that is with the one, the only, Edward John Frank Howe. The bloke who just got relegated, to quote a certain person who would no doubt give his right arm to have achieved a fraction of what this man has done for the Toon. I've made videos before extolling his virtues and defending him against multiple attacks from entitled, short-sighted critics calling for him to be sacked when results have gone against us for whatever reason. I myself have criticised multiple selection decisions, game management, and substitution decisions that he's made. I've received criticism for accepting the fact that he's still learning on the job, and I've been accused of settling for mediocrity by fans who simply cannot understand the constraints under which he has been performing the miracles that this football club has achieved under his stewardship. I have battled numerous arguments that he is not elite and we should replace him with a manager who is. As I said in my pre-match poem, he has now shut the critics up and no one is now screaming for the axe. Cheers. People point to the money he spent, but the relatively small amount that he has spent is nothing compared to the teams we are trying to emulate. And when you take into consideration the squad that he inherited, a championship squad in all but name, just look at the improvement that he has got out of the players in that squad. I give you Man Mountain midfielder Joey Linton. I give you Sean Longstaff and Miggy Almiron in his first 2 seasons. I give you Jacob Murphy. I give you Fabian Schär, back to his best at Wembley. I give you Jamal Lascelles, Emil Kraft, Paul Dummett. Forget the Everton blunder, who never let us down when called upon, at a time when the injury gods were crucifying us. I give you 3 straight transfer windows when the Premier League's PSR rule meant that not only could we not sign a single first-team ready player, But we had to sell two of our best young prospects. I give you first and foremost a gentleman in the Bobby Robson bracket, and there is no higher bracket, who in times of both triumph and adversity remained composed and humble. Unlike his much heralded contemporaries, he never resorted to blaming the referee or the ball or VAR or the weather. No, he would praise the squad, the players, the group when we won, and say that he must do better when we lost. Football being football, there will inevitably come a day when he will move on. I suspect for the England job, which I would never decry him for. But until that day arrives, let us thank the footballing gods that Amanda and the board had the foresight and wisdom to bring him here to us, and for him being the first of a new breed of playing staff, along with the likes of Mad Dog, Trips, Bruno, and J7, who get what it means to be a Geordie. By all accounts, first into training every day and last to leave. What a work ethic. What a man. Thank you, Edward John Frank Howe. And so to the aforementioned Kieran Trippier. Trips, one of the most significant signings in the club's history, who believed in whatever it was that Eddie told him about the club's future and took a wage cut to come here and take on a relegation battle after winning La Liga. Forget the ridiculously underpriced fee that we got him for. What he signalled was the club's ambition and intent, which was then embraced by Bruno and Botman, who came for, again, what now appear to be ridiculously cheap transfer fees, and then, of course, Alexander Isak. Would we have been able to sign any of them were it not for the initial signing of Kieran Trippier and the ambition that move signalled? Tripp's form of late emulates the pure class of his performances when he first joined us, and long may it continue. There's absolutely no way I would let him go for peanuts in the summer. Rather, I'd keep him on the coaching staff. And so, to Big Dan Burn. Would he have come to the tune without Tripp signing? You bet your life he would. His dream move to his boyhood club, he would have crawled over a mile of broken glass to play for us. He bleeds black and white. And don't so many of his performances exemplify that? A real life fairy tale. Hometown club, avoid relegation, qualify for the Champions League and the best defence in the league while playing left back for a full season in the best defence in the league. Scoring a Champions League goal against the mighty PSG in the Gallagher end on a night that will live in Geordie history. Getting to Wembley in 2 cup finals, getting called up for England for the national side, and then scoring the opening goal in our first cup-winning Wembley final for 70 years. If Carlsberg did fairy tales, even they would think that this story was too far-fetched. Our midfield trio of Bruno, Tonali, and J7. They didn't give Liverpool a kick. On their day, they are undoubtedly the best midfield three in the country. Of late, Tonali has been the pick of the bunch, very rarely performing to a less than exemplary level. But on Sunday, J7 for me took that crown. He was literally everywhere. A horrible, aggressive battering ram, not giving Liverpool a second to think. And don't we just love that horrible aggression and the real post-match tears that show just how much he gets this playing for the tune thing. Ditto Bruno, who had his best game for ages, and it mattered not that his goal-scoring, dare I say, trademark dispossession happened. The rest of his performance was magnificent, and Liverpool just couldn't handle the three of them. And so on to Liverpool and the much vaunted Arne Slot. Our nemesis for decades and our victorious opponents in the first Wembley final that I attended in 1974. Since then, they've gone on to multiple title-winning, cup-winning, and European Cup Champions League winning adventures, whilst we have largely drifted aimlessly in the background. We have our worst top-flight statistics against them than any other team, and we haven't beaten them in any competition for 10 years plus. They're currently arguably the best team in the world and undoubtedly the best team in England, as the league table confirms. We are playing them without either Lewis Hall or Anthony Gordon, our best left-sided midfield players, and arguably both the best in the country in their positions. So how can we possibly beat them? Well, it certainly helps that the great Arne Slot decides to man-mark 6'7" Dan Burn with 5'0" Alexis McAllister. Thanks very much for that, Arnie. But it also helps that in the very recent past, as Eddie told us in his post-match interview, that we play them with totally different tactics from those we intended to employ on Sunday, thus giving them no chance to counter the new tactics. And didn't Slot's panicking and substitutions show it? Thanks again, Arnie. You gave me a day I will never forget. A day, by the way, when I'm going to take some of the credit, because as I mentioned earlier, since that 1974 Liverpool hammering, I've been to Wembley in person 6 more times and seen us get beat 6 times. With this in mind, I thought I might be the jinx. So this time, I decided to take one for the team and not go. Lo and behold, I stay away, and the jinx and the curse of Wembley and Liverpool are simultaneously smashed to pieces, and we win at Wembley for the first time in 70 years and beat Liverpool for the first time in 10 years. I take all your gratitude and adulation with the humbleness of Edward John Frank Howe. It of course means I now can never again go to Wembley to watch my beloved club. You're welcome. After the Manchester United final 2 years ago, me and my good friend Amrit, yes, that's the Amrit of post-match interviews and Googling Friday night quizzes, flew out the following day to Madeira to celebrate what turned out to be a non-existent victory. We decided to do the same again this year, hence the lovely Funchal background. Boy, has it been different this year. In Madeira, we've bumped into folk all over the place, joining in our celebrations from all over the country, supporting all sorts of different teams. Such fun. You wouldn't believe. I could wax lyrical about the match events for hours, but I'll finish by saying thanks to everyone who stuck right through all this rambling. Thanks to Eddie and the boys for giving me the time of my life. And thanks to the football gods who have, at last, seen the error of their ways and opened the door to what will surely be a trophy-filled future ahead. And for a fan base which I truly believe to be the loyalist and best in the world, do we not deserve it? I think we do. Smash the likes, please. Hit the notification bell for future programs and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to become a member and help us out, please do. Details on the website NUFC. Thank you, good night, and how are the lads?